What if I told you that the ground beneath your feet could suddenly disappear, that the sky could turn a color never seen before, or that the air itself could kill you without warning? Nature is beautiful, but it's also unpredictable, merciless, and terrifying. And sometimes it strikes when you least expect it. From vanishing oceans to mysterious skyquakes, today we're counting down the top 10 times nature caught people off guard. And trust me, you won't believe what's at number 1. Number 10. The ocean that vanished without a trace. It started as a peaceful morning on the shores of Thailand in 2004. The sun was shining, families played on the beach, until someone noticed something strange. The ocean was disappearing. Instead of waves crashing against the shore, the water was rushing backward, exposing the seafloor, leaving behind flopping fish and stranded boats. For a few minutes, people stood there, stunned. Some even ran toward the exposed seabed, picking up seashells and taking pictures. They had no idea. Their time was running out. Because suddenly, without warning, the sea roared back with unstoppable fury. A towering wall of water, as tall as a 10-story building, came crashing down, wiping out everything in its path. 35-foot waves swallowed entire cities, and over 230,000 lives were lost in one of the deadliest natural disasters in history. And the scariest part? The same thing could happen again, at any moment. Number 9. When the sky turned green and all hell broke loose. Imagine stepping outside, only to see the sky glowing green. The air feels heavy. An unnatural silence blankets the world, and every animal vanishes like they know something you don't. This eerie green sky phenomenon is a terrifying warning, one that many people ignore until it's too late, because just minutes later, the sky erupts into chaos. Out of nowhere, hailstones the size of baseballs come crashing down, smashing windows and knocking people unconscious. Winds howl like a freight train, tearing apart trees and lifting cars like toys. Then, the real nightmare begins. A massive tornado touches down, obliterating everything in its path. One survivor in Kansas described it like this: "It was like the world was being ripped apart. The house disappeared around me. The wind sucked my feet off the ground. And then, nothing. Miraculously, he survived. But the town? It was wiped off the map." Number 8. The ground that opened up beneath their feet. It was just another normal evening in Guatemala City. People were sitting at home, kids were playing, the world felt safe. Until, boom. Without warning, the ground collapsed, swallowing entire buildings in the blink of an eye. A massive sinkhole, 300 feet deep, had suddenly opened up, devouring everything above it. A mother turned around for just a second, and her house, and her entire family, had vanished into nothingness. Sinkholes like this can appear anywhere, at any time. Sometimes the only warning is a soft cracking sound beneath your feet, and then it's too late. And here's the shocking twist. Scientists believe that some cities are sitting on hidden voids right now, even yours, even. Number 7. The mystery of the skyquakes. Picture this. You're walking down the street when suddenly a thunderous explosion shakes the entire sky. It's so loud it shatters windows, sets off car alarms, and makes people run for cover. But here's the weird part. There's nothing in the sky. No planes, no lightning, no bombs. Nothing. These events, known as skyquakes, have been reported all over the world, from the US to Australia to India. Some say it's tectonic activity, others believe it's shockwaves from meteors, and some think it's something else entirely. Because the strangest thing? Nobody knows for sure. One terrified witness in North Carolina described it like this: "It was like the sky itself was cracking open. The sound shook my bones. And then, silence, as if nothing had ever happened." The government has no official explanation, and some believe they never will. Number 6. The river that turned to blood. Imagine waking up, looking outside, and seeing that the entire river had turned blood red. This isn't a scene from a horror movie. It's real life. In 2012, the Yangtze River in China suddenly transformed into a thick, crimson flood, with no warning and no known cause. Scientists scrambled for answers. Was it pollution? Algae? A natural phenomenon? But nothing could fully explain why it happened so suddenly. And here's the chilling part. Similar events have occurred all over the world. In 2021, a river in Lebanon turned blood red overnight. In 2018, an entire beach in Australia was dyed red like something out of the apocalypse. Some call it a warning from nature. Others believe it's something far worse. Wait, before we continue to the top 5 most shocking natural surprises, I have one question for you. Are you brave enough to keep watching? Because trust me, it only gets crazier from here. And while you're here, please subscribe. Because hitting your subscribe button can give me new motivation to work harder and succeed. Now, let's move on. But be warned, you won't believe what's coming next. Number 5. The day animals started running for their lives. In 1975, something deeply disturbing happened in the city of Haicheng, China. Dogs were howling non-stop, cattle refused to enter their barns, and thousands of rats were seen fleeing in broad daylight. Birds abandoned their nests, and even snakes, who should have been hibernating, were slithering out into the freezing streets. The animals knew something that humans didn't. Just days later, on February 4th, an earthquake stronger than 90 nuclear bombs struck the city, reducing it to rubble. But here's the crazy twist. Thanks to the animals' strange behavior, scientists managed to predict the disaster and evacuated the city just in time. Over 150,000 lives were saved. And here's the scariest part. This has happened before. In 373 BC, snakes, weasels, and mice abandoned the Greek city of Helike, days before a massive earthquake destroyed it. So, next time you see animals acting strangely, pay attention. They might be warning you. Number 4. The house that refused to burn. In 2021, a massive wildfire ripped through Greenville, California. The fire was so intense that it melted metal, turned buildings to ash, and even caused cars to explode. It seemed unstoppable, until firefighters came across something that shocked them to their core. A single house, untouched. Everything around it was reduced to blackened ruins, but this one house stood there, perfectly intact, as if the fire had never touched it. No one could explain why. The owner, who had left during the evacuation, returned expecting nothing but ashes, only to find their home standing like a ghost in a graveyard. Theories flooded in. Was it a miracle? A freak accident? Or something science couldn't explain? To this day, no one knows why that house survived when everything else around it burned. Number 3. The 100-foot wave that came out of nowhere. For years, scientists believed waves could only get so big. But in 1995, something terrifying happened in the North Sea. A crew aboard the Dropner oil rig was going about their daily tasks, when suddenly the radar went crazy. A rogue wave, over 100 feet high, was heading straight for them. There was no storm, no earthquake, nothing that could explain how such a massive wall of water had suddenly appeared out of nowhere. The crew barely had time to react before the wave slammed into the rig, shaking it like an earthquake. They braced for the worst. But miraculously, the structure survived. When scientists analyzed the data, they realized something shocking. This wasn't a once-in-a-lifetime event. It was proof that rogue waves, huge, unexpected, and utterly destructive, could happen at any time, anywhere in the world's oceans. And the scariest part? These waves still can't be predicted. Number 2. The fire that burned. Blue fires are supposed to be red, orange, and yellow, right? That's what we all believe. But in 2015, in the remote wilderness of Indonesia, something deeply unnatural happened. A group of tourists was hiking near the Kawah Ijen volcano when they saw something that made them freeze in terror. Bright blue flames were erupting from the earth, spreading across the ground like liquid lightning. It wasn't a trick of the light. It was real, and it was deadly. Scientists later discovered that sulfuric gases from the volcano were igniting, creating an otherworldly blue inferno. But here's the chilling twist. This phenomenon has happened before, and it's left entire landscapes scorched beyond recognition. If this can happen in Indonesia, what's stopping it from happening somewhere near you? Number 1. The storm that came from nowhere and never left. And now we've arrived at number 1, the most terrifying, unexplained natural event in modern history. In 1998, a small fishing village on the Venezuelan coast was going about its nightly routine when suddenly, the sky exploded in light. A massive storm erupted out of nowhere. For hours, lightning struck non-stop, lighting up the sky as if the world was ending. But here's the terrifying part. The storm never stopped. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And still the lightning kept flashing. That was over 25 years ago. And the storm, it's still happening. Today, it's known as the Catatumbo lightning, a mysterious phenomenon where a never-ending lightning storm rages above Lake Maracaibo. Scientists have tried to explain it, but no one fully understands why it won't stop. Some believe it's caused by unique air currents. Others think it's a glitch in the Earth's weather system. But one thing's for sure. If nature can create a storm that never ends, what else is it capable of? And that, my friends, is proof that nature is unpredictable, powerful, and absolutely terrifying. But I have to ask, which of these moments shocked you the most? Was it the vanishing ocean, the rogue wave, or the storm that never ends? Let me know in the comments. And if you love mind-blowing content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Because trust me, the next video is even crazier.